On Tuesday, April 14, James Whitman and myself spoke at the Santa Cruz City Council meeting regarding their iteration of the Violence of Women Act, which is run federally, then shell gamed down to the states, shell gamed down to the counties, and then shell gamed down to non-governmental agencies working in private-public partnerships with your local cities, towns, municipalities, and et al. Sorry, I'm not speaking very well today. Anyhow, I attached the videos for you to see what was said. My daughter's court kidnapping has been ignored, and this city council looked very uncomfortable by my comments. I have more to say about the final rebuttal at the end.
Council meeting agenda, anything you'd like to, our calendar rather, that you would like to draw our attention to?
No changes.
Good, all right, thank you. We are on the consent agenda. If you might not be familiar with this, let me explain how we're going to do this. We will be taking up items 7 through 22 inclusive on one motion. What I will do is give an opportunity to council members and then to the public to make a comment or ask a question on the items on the consent agenda. And then we will, as I say, take a single vote.
Yes, I also have a couple of comments.
Please proceed.
Item 9, that's the CAPVAWA report. I also want to appreciate the Santa Cruz Police Department and our CAPVAWA Commission for their work. Reading through the report, I was just wowed by the amount of work that you all do in a year. This is volunteer. You've got other things in your life going on, so really just grateful for the heart that you put into this important work, and really clearly the partnerships that you've forged and strengthened over the years. That's really apparent in the report, so thank you for your work.
Data, and it does not reference the university.
I think that what's happened in the past has already happened. We can't change anything. I really appreciate that so many people have come to talk about the violence against women, item number 9. I just want to state, as far as a public record, that the worst example of peace officers I've ever seen on a video was 8 officers of the Santa Cruz PD on June 28th, 2021. This has to do with Rhonda Reyna and her daughter, Brooke. You have to wonder why the previous police chief, Andy Mills, moved on soon after that. That still hasn't been remedied. I mean, it's just sad. It happens to a lot of people, so there's a lot of work to be done.
Someone on the line, and we'll be right with you. Person online?
Good afternoon, Mayor Keeley. I am commenting on item 9. My name is Rhonda Reyna. Violence against women has only escalated. It's been 5 years since Santa Cruz PD violently strangled and kidnapped my then 13-year-old daughter. My Instagram channel has had 24,600 views, with many horrified comments posted. Violence Against Women Act, circulated down to the city level here, is nothing but fraud, waste, and abuse. I think First Lady Melania Trump's close friend, who is now facing similar violence, is opening the floodgates on the Epstein-related child trafficking scams routed through VAWA et al. I personally loathe the Santa Cruz Police Department for kidnapping my daughter, for harming her, for psychologically homiciding me from her life, and she from mine. No words are sufficient to describe the evil the Santa Cruz Police Department represents. Jonathan Bush, Andy Mills, Ruben Badeo, David Diddy, Sergio Vernegas, Gina Ruiz Plageman, et al., and all of you sitting there who know this crime against me and my daughter occurred, but you dare to pat each other on the back and speak highly of what can only be described as an irreparably corrupt police agency. This is the year of the fire horse. May justice prevail and every perpetrator be held accountable, be certified, and pay me and my daughter restitution. None of us have forgotten. Ryan Coonerty has been proven to be a liar when he and Sonia Bruner held a press conference saying that police who abuse children would be held accountable. We have not forgotten. I have not forgotten. I will never forget that horrific day. I go to bed every night for 5 years, grieving the abuse my daughter suffered and how I was made to helplessly witness it as the last time she and I were ever together. That committee needs an overhaul or to just be disbanded. And to the lady who had glowing things to say, I suggest you look into my case. I suggest you go to my Instagram channel, Forensic Mama, and look at my YouTube videos and look at all the wrongs that have occurred and how violence against women has only gotten worse. And district attorneys are now putting mothers in jail on $500,000 bail and daring to accuse them of kidnapping their own creations and their own children and trafficking them to wealthy men, wealthy pedophiles, wealthy abusers. Those are the truths and the facts. That's all.
Thank you, Mayor Keeley.
You don't need to apologize.
Thank you. Thank you for acknowledging that also. I wanted to bring up our gratitude for everyone for receiving this report. As you have all noted, we really worked to make it more comprehensible to all of you, to address questions that we've had come to us from the public. And we have tried to really have clear answers for people who are curious about it. I also wanted to acknowledge that as we move forward towards the effects of the upcoming federal cuts that we are facing, we know statistically that we are going to see domestic violence rates, sexual assaults rates will rise because our community members are going to be feeling these economic stressors. And we just want to bring that forth in front of the city council, and also to say that we are going to be working extra hard to uphold and to help our community based organizations patch together their services so that we're able to meet the needs of our community in these upcoming financial difficulties. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So the tone-deaf woman who just got up and spoke after I gave my speech is one of those useful idiots. And if that makes you uncomfortable, too bad. I'm the mother of a court-kidnapped child who was violently strangled and taken away from me for 5 years, so I get to speak however I want. That woman did not acknowledge my statement or James Whitman's statement, but she did point out that the politicians and the non-governmental agencies want to profit further off of domestic violence. Domestic violence is big business, and this was organized by Casey Gwinn in San Diego, who is one of the architects of the Violence Against Women Act, signed by Epstein frequent flyer Bill Clinton in 1994. And written about by Doreen Ludwig in her book AFCC Net, which follows the money, and her Substack article called Let's Get Stark about domestic violence. Casey Gwinn sells these one-stop domestic violence shops called Family Justice Centers, which launder money into the pockets of NGOs. You've got to look at the Form 990s for these 1.9 million fake charities, how much they're paying the CEOs, where the money is going, but almost none of the money goes to the survivors and the victims like myself, my daughter, like Giselle Smil, like Maria, like Julie Valadez, and so many other women who are now dead, like Catherine Kasanoff, Julia Goldmark, and the late Lizzie Harding. Domestic violence is killing women, it's trafficking children, and every politician is in on it. I don't trust any politicians, and anyone who's not speaking about it has basically a big red flag on their head. So thank you to Louis Herms and his group who are willing to have this discussion, and I'm just going to wait and see how that turns out.